Hello, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Oak Empath, and I just like having these little talks and the way I feel about things. It's a very, very interesting day. I just spent about 20 minutes having a conversation with myself because yesterday, when I did a live, I think they were in the midst of an upgrade, so I couldn't use the classic, so I used the new version, cut off part of my video, but I had a different key. So I started the stream not realizing that the key in classic is different than the key stream in classic is different than the key stream in the new version. So I had to go back and cut and paste, put it the right way. I'm like, no wonder people have such a hard time with tech, because I'm trained for this. This is I got the mind for it. I'm tech support. That's what my job was. 10 years before I freaking shifted gears a little bit. So I'm always testing tech. I wish I had my window machine. I think I'm about ready to get a motherboard for that. And so I can test technology on it too. I had a pretty decent Toshiba, and it just freaking died one day. I took it apart. I know it's on the motherboard. I just have to change the motherboard, that's all. It's just to get a blown capacitor, and it's a lot easier to fix than people think. People don't even try. The things that people don't try to do in life is weird to me. I guess Oregon is open. I guess the freaking the dumb broad that runs this joint freaking tried to extend the closure, and the judge is like, no. Nobody's died in like 4 days. The number, like 0.1% death rate, and these people are really unhealthy, the majority, because that's what counts, right? The majority. I'm not the majority of anything, so I've never counted for nothing. It's always been the majority, and I've always been in that window that is not for the majority, and I have very good reasons why. So I've never gotten my way. People used to always tell me when it's not about you. I'm like, yeah, I know. It never is. Even on my birthday, people have told me, it don't matter. As you get older, what you realize is what people see you and you is how much they freaking hate themselves. I mean, how people talk to me, I'm like, I might as well be a mirror. I'm like, you spot it, you got it. It's Psych 101, man. It's basic. It's basic. I'm starting to think that I'm tuned into the frequency. That's what incarnation and all that stuff is to me. Is why some lives are so grand. Why are they only to be experienced one time? Like Carl Jung. And I think when people reincarnate, sometimes in the future, like maybe I'll incarnate as Carl Jung. And then so that's why I listen to talks and stuff now, and I freaking totally resonate with everything that he says. And the thing of it is my personality I always have. I was born an old man. I never really wanted to be a man. I wanted to be a dude because my whole life I watched women freaking sacrifice themselves for men, what they wanted to do. Do everything for them, make their dinner, freaking do all their laundry. All they have to do is go to work. Then when I grew up and I started working in these paradigms where these men would go to work, I watch them. They were not a lot of working done. Definitely not earning their pay grade. Definitely not earning their pay grade. Because people that work hard, they don't gain weight year after year after year after year. That's not what hard work looks like even. I finally saw one article 4 months into it. I don't know who the dude was, but it was like, I think maybe the rates of people getting sick in this country more have to do with the obesity epidemic than anything, but not the shame. Shame, everything is in the eye of the beholder. So I used to have shame. And then people would freaking say the meanest, rudest, grossest things to me. And yeah, it hurt my feelings until and then Psych 101, what they freaking, how they talk to you is how they see themselves. They're just using you as an easy target, as an outlet. My speakers came. Boop. They changed colors. They're insignia. I got them from Best Buy. I could have gone and picked them up. That's the thing. I thought they had them like right 2 miles from me. This is why it drives me crazy. This is why freaking there's so many people that fall through the cracks, is because so much money is wasted on bad planning. It's one of the things that when I went to college, you know, the things that I really stuck on, and I've continued to track and pay attention to are supply chains. And when I was in the Air Force, it was the supply chain was a very integral part of my job. At one point, I was the TODO. I was the TODO, the Technical Order Distribution Officer for Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. For every job, every task, every maintenance job that they have, there's a book. It's a TODO. It's the TODO. It's a book of library, a book of instructions, made by people with one kind of mind for a population of people with an entirely different kind of mind. But if you were performing a maintenance operation anywhere near the piece of equipment, you had to have that book open to the page of the job, or you could be reprimanded. That's the thing that is so funny to me, is my whole life I have watched people that give a fuck about rules, park where they want, fly helicopters, do what they want, when they want. Doesn't matter who it puts out, they do what they want. Oh, those people just drive me crazy. It's like they get their rocks off because they inconvenience people, because they take. It's the mindset and the heart space of the withholder. And I've been around them my whole entire life. I can pick them out in a crowd. Oh, they're so easy. Some people make it so easy to read energy. Labels. Yep, brand names make it so easy for me to see how big or tiny your spirit is. Yeah. Sometimes I get duped, because ain't nothing nobody know 100%, but not real often. Hi, Melcy. How are you today? I don't know who, I respect autonomy. That's why oftentimes when I share here, I like to share in a general way. I do like to acknowledge when contributions are made. And it was kind of interesting. Tech is just, you can't count on technology, and the cognitive dissonance related to technology, let that shit go too, because you'll make yourself crazy. I've been talking about this speaker thing, and it continued today. It was like it was supposed to be delivered this. I could have got it from 3 miles away. I could have picked it up. I was under the impression that they were going to ship it from there. No, they shipped it from LA. Okay. So, all the resources. So now I'll just do pickup. If I do that ever, I'm just like, are you seriously? The money that people piss away on shit is just unbelievable. Anyway, somebody contributed. Okay, so before I get too far off task. So anyway, I got an email yesterday saying it would be delivered today between 12 and 4, and then I woke up to another email saying it'd be delivered between noon and 9, and I'm just like, that's the thing, is when it gets here, that's why I like to believe in divine timing, because all the cognitive dissonance, I mean, I tell the whole story. I mean, if I was a person that was really, like, if I needed this for, like, something important, that would have been an emotional roller coaster for sure. But I just look at stuff, hey, when stuff comes, it comes, right? So I noticed a while ago that I stopped getting, I have like 4 email accounts, and I noticed a while ago I stopped getting, I just collected them along the way. I mean, my first email account was like it was an Excite email account. Turtle49 and Boo at excite.com. Because someone I knew worked there. That was like in 1990 or 2000. 2000? Yeah, something like that. Because I remember I was in the Air Force and going up in the dorms, they had computer rooms you could go to and check your email and stuff like that. So I think there was still dial-up even. Computer cafes. Yeah. Colleges have them too. I'm like, man, why can't everybody just have resources like that? Because it's a club. Now kids are freaking living. Anyway, I'm getting not too far off track. So it was about a month ago I realized that I wasn't getting notifications from my Gmail account. Because I was always getting notifications from YouTube. Like I'd get a comment and stuff, and then they did an update, and then I stopped getting notifications, so I thought something just broke in YouTube. Well, I went and looked at the account because Stacy, thank you, hi. Consistent contributor, appreciate you very much. She tells me to look at PayPal every now and again, and so I'll do that, and she'll send me a good tidings gratuity for my talks, and so she told me to do that, and there was one in there for my birthday for like, it was very generous. And I was like, strangers. Then it was for my birthday, and that was like the best gift I got, and I got it a month and 9 days later after my birthday. You know, that's what I mean by divine timing. I mean, it was there then, but I didn't know about it. I wasn't supposed to know about it until, it was a night. It was a better gift than anyone I know ever gave me in a personal way like that. Like, I mean, in a monetary sense, like here, just because I appreciate you. I do stuff like that, so it's not too far beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, the stuff that I'm looking forward to do in my future from the abundance that I get, because that's what I'm going to do. And that's my rule of thumb, is when I get... First thing I was going to do is, like, I'm just going to pay it all on the city bill. And then I'm like, no, Mark, that goes against your own rule. Your 51% rule. I will keep 49% for myself because my birthday is 4/9. That's a fair number. And I will do 51%. I will pay that forward. Is a rule I've had for myself for many, many years. Many years I've tried to live in this heart space because it keeps my ego balanced. Because if I give other people more than what I keep for myself, then I don't think I'm more important than other people in my mind. Because to me, that's how energy works. My brother, he's total polar opposite of me. He's like all aspects I'm not. He's got a lot of positive aspects. And not, anyway, I don't need to get too far into that, but we just are, it's so weird how different we are. He's a poli-sci major, career student, he was a teacher, he didn't like that. I'm not getting into his story too much. My point is now he's a lawyer, and he's like all these paradigms of all these things of these dudes that I've hung out with in my life that I just found to be just suck. Like, they always treated me like shit. So now when I go into a room, I know them so well. I know who they are. They all are in every shade of their skin, from the whitest to white to, it's like a memory bank of like how police, when people get arrested, they take pictures of tattoos, gangs, stuff like that. I do picture everything, tattoo, labels, brands, because they all dress the same, they all wear the same, they all wear the same cologne, they all drive the same cars, they all wear the same puffy coats. It's just, they're so trite, and they think they're slick, and they think they're cunning, and they think they're baffling, and because they've created a society that, oh, you can't innocent until proven guilty, and statute of limitations. I mean, the society has been built for the cretin. It really has. Society has been set up for the cretin. And it's time for that balance to shift. It's funny how I don't know anybody personally that's been sick. But I do know people like that have like other storylines that they say haven't been true, that have absolutely been true. Like being deflowered when you're 10, 11 months old. That has been a storyline that has happened to me. And there's another storyline of women that I've known year after year after year. And just because I mean, I can see their faces in my head, and when I say them out here, I respect anonymity, so I'm not going to say anybody's name. But I know women that that you know, the 12, 13-year-old girl that got picked up from the convenience store by two older men, and the things that they did all night. I don't know why they didn't leave her for dead. Thank goodness they didn't, because she still went on to have to do a whole lot of good in life. And I know about the woman that freaking got run off the road by two semis, because that's just something that they do. You know, the things that I mean, guys get bored, their egos get bored, they just sit in a truck all day, they want some in a truck. So the thing that they do is they block a young girl in that was by herself on an rural road or late at night. One semi in front, one in back. Never to be that, you know, people, you want to know how women get taken and stuff all the time? These are the things that happen. So if you're going to be a female and the world is changing, and I'm all about security and safety, and I want people to live their lives, and I want them to go out and be joyful human beings, and I want them to camp and do all these things. At the same time, when you go, you tell someone you tell at least one human being where you're going to go. Everybody's got to have one human being that you can tell where you're going to go, how long you're going to be there, the route you're going to take. In the event that something happens, you know, if you don't hear by this point, call for help. Things like that. Set up things in place. People need to be smart about stuff. It's not that you got to freaking stop living. You just got to live different. Who's living different now? The freaking dumb broad, the control freak of the state in which I live in, is trying to get it's like nobody's died. No, you know, it's like a 1% death rate, 0.1%, you know, and it's just the racket's up, and she wants to keep it closed, and then there's a judge that was like, no. So if people want to go get a haircut, they can go get a haircut. And if people want to go to the movies, now they can go to the movies. And I'm just like, good. You know, it's all about free choice. Just like health is all about free choice. It took 3 months, and I finally saw an article where frickin' Avell, or what, I don't know the guy's name. I don't know who he was. I never saw him before, but he made the point, which is a point that pisses people off on Facebook, and I've freaking lost a couple friends over it too, is that if healthy people don't get sick. They don't. The majority. You know, healthy, you know, and so maybe I what I'm saying is and astrology is very similar to the tough energy of what was going to be in the 80s. I mean, of what was the 80s back when, and what we're going to see are these same cycles, the same trends are going to come back around, and that's fitness. Fitness is going to become important again. PE is going to be a thing again. But this time, it's going to be different, because there's going to be so many different, it's not going to be one class for all different types of spiritual beings and having a human experience. It's going to you're going to be able to have different classes to go to, you know, based on, you know, what you're into. I'm Pisces sun in Vedic. I've loved swimming I am a swimmer. I love swimming. I'm a water baby. So, you know, like, but when high school I went to, we didn't even have a swimming pool. I was always the minority group. All the other schools had freaking swimming pools, but no CVHS. Central Valley, the hood, man. Freaking. Anyway, how long have I yet? 35 minutes. I'm pretty good. I got my speakers today. So tech is going to get glitchy too. My recommendations, update your stuff. If you're one of those that leave your machine on all the time because you don't like reopening windows and stuff like that, I don't even know it. I don't talk to you people. I don't understand you people. For those of you who want your shit to last, freaking update your stuff, especially if you got freaking like a gazillion updates. And I'm skeptical. Like, I don't do it immediately. Like, there's a... I'll wait at least 7 days before I update my phone or anything. Major, like, system updates when they come out, because sometimes they put out stuff that breaks. And sometimes if they do that, then they'll quickly put something out, you know, to fix it. But I always give them a chance to see if that's happened. What else, Benny? Look at Benny snoring. Tucker's back there snoring too. I made cookies today. Can of cookies. My flour cookies. Today there was a little bit of caramel left, and I used peanut butter chips. The minis, the Reese's peanut butter minis, they're like ice cream toppings. I found them in like the ice cream, like the toppings section. And I got, yeah. They're real good. Actually kind of got to sleep in this morning. I started out my day rough, so that was right. That was another beautiful synchronistic thing about the contribution to seeing that those contributions today, is because I even said that I don't get depressed often. I'm 46 and I'm thinking about like maybe 3 times in my life. Now, there have been many situations and times and circumstances in life which I should have been depressed. Fortunate enough for me, I've been looking and collecting tools my whole life to put in my toolbox to ward off low vibrational feelings. So, but I woke up today and I started making cookies and I was like, Mom, I feel depressed today. And not even an hour, 2 hours later, somebody was saying the same thing. Someone very close to my heart space, too, I might add. So that tells me. Someone also, incidentally, that doesn't have, now that I think about it, doesn't have any earth in their chart either. And I was like, you know, and then it's like, oh, I'm picking up on you. I'm tuning into people, and not just them, but other people that we're close in alignment to. And being close in alignment is really interesting. You can have, it's like a Rubik's Cube to me with I see, it's like, I picture, I wish I could automate these things that I see. Maybe one day. It's like a Rubik's Cube with planets and energies. And you can have placements and planets that are opposite from someone else, but that opposition creates a balance. It's freaking cool, man. It's opposites attract, that kind of thing. People that just want to just spend all their time with people that are just like themselves lack content to me. That's why I have a hard time with like going and all the effort of what it entails to travel to like a sports arena, sit there for 3 hours, watch back and forth, travel back home. All that energy. I just think of all the other stuff that I could be using energy on. But that is the same freak tribe. That whole paradigm is a huge same freak tribe. That frequency of pro sports, misogyny, my strong man, you know, all that stuff. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and then I'm going to wrap it up because I don't want to run my mouth too long. I was thinking about this of kind of cool how else the world is changing. People are becoming more energetically androgynous. See, every time I see a report about, like the one I saw recently about 2 Kansas City cops that have been indicted for beating and the wrongful assault of a transgender woman. I know that storyline. It's a common storyline, and I'm going to say it out loud here. So when you know that storyline and you come across it, because you're going to come across it because the hate is coming out, that low vibrational, because the secrets are coming out and people's true desires and stuff, it's coming out, and that's why they get mad. It's because they don't like them in themselves. I never considered myself to be transgender. There was a point in time when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a little boy. Mostly because girls, I always noticed where I grew up and around, freaking women did everything for their men. They did everything. So, I just wanted to be taken care of. That's the only reason. And plus, it'd be easy to pee standing up. But besides that, Anyway, not my bag. So, the point is, but as I've become older, I know this storyline. There was one point in time, I got braces. My teeth, I used to have the same top teeth as Jewel. And when I got braces, I was actually not going to get braces. I was actually doing research out of doctors in Lincoln, actually all over the United States. But there was one in Lincoln that did top surgery. And I wanted to have top surgery because I have no, like, emotional sensation related to my breasts. They've just always been in the way. And I wear a lot of men's clothes. So a lot of my wardrobe is dress shirts and bow ties, so I wanted it to fit better. And I don't want to be smooshed down and stuff. I just didn't want them there. And then once I looked into what the surgery entailed, I was like, fuck that. And here's my $4,000 smile. And I'm glad I didn't. But as I understand transgender, our spirits incarnate. It just flows from one life to another, and oftentimes we experience many incarnation is one sex, one gender, whatever. And then we accumulate karma, and then we get thrown into the opposite sex to reap the karma of what we've sown as the opposite. And oftentimes, spirits don't have an easy time anchoring in. I was a tomboy. I started developing young. I had my period when I was 9. The week after my 9th birthday, I started, And then it was like my mom it's like, no, she's got to wear a t-shirt. I didn't want to. I mean, I felt like I was like a little tenderfoot dude, And I was always out in nature and the rough and tumble and stuff. And I always got the you can't do that, you're a girl, and all that shit. And well, we all know that that's crap, and guess what men can't do today? Guess what men can't... Well, let's see. I'll give you a hint. The military in 2017 spent $11 million on male enhancement drugs. So if that gives you an idea what men... And that's the thing is men... A lot... Not all of the toxic masculinity has run... Not the men that have gone through a great deal of work to keep themselves balanced, because there's a lot of those guys, and those guys deserve a lot more credit than they ever get. The ones that never listen to people say, don't cry. They just said, fuck you. I'm sad. I'm going to fucking cry if I want to cry. Nobody tell me how I'm going to act or not act. All that, all those healthy balance, now people they're starting to look at those guys. Anyway, so I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the balanced ones that, ate your feelings, that never read a book, that stayed in your own mental midgetness, that abuse your kids, and you're taking out your, how you had an idea of how you wanted your life to be, and it didn't turn out that way, and and she left you, so you hit your kids because you're mad, you know, and all that stuff that, you know, when people don't sue themselves, all that stuff that people do. And all that stuff is coming out. So don't think for sure, you know. So when and it goes back to American Beauty is the same storyline as those cops. And you know those, you know the interesting about those cops that did that to that woman in Kansas, the transgender woman in Kansas, is, was it 2017, 18? They got an award for going into a burning house and saving, you know. And that's what that's saying. It's like, yeah, they're great, you know. The maniac, they're great guys. They're driven to do wonderful things. But the stuff that they do to self-serve, and they probably found an attraction to that woman, and that is something that they don't like to see in themselves. So that's what they do, is that you find attraction in something that you have been told is weird your whole entire life, because you're not trained to be a kind and loving being, because you're the lowest test scores in the military. You know, you're not trained for that, and then you know, it's your attraction, it's your spark, and you can't handle your emotions, so they harmed her. I don't believe they killed her, but you know, and this is a storyline, because these are the guys, they're in every group. My mind, the way I look at it, is every city is the same. Every city has like the same vibe, right? Every class has a class clown. Every class has a Nellie Olson. Every class has the, you know, the jock. They all have all these paradigms. As these paradigms grow up in society, these paradigms all end up in the same places. I worked in Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska has a lot of headquarters for companies all over the world, or the United States, whatever. It's centrally located. The state used to give all kinds of freaking extra bonus just to freaking be housed there, because there ain't nothing going on. So that's how they brought in jobs. So, there ain't a whole lot going on there. Actually, no, it's actually a pretty decent place, honestly, if I'm gonna be true about it. But, so the point is everybody, you know, there's no longevity in any place anymore. It's like 2-3 years. So all these people that have moved up in these paradigms just go from place to place to place. And if they don't do it in their own city, then they go to another city and do it in their own, in there, you know. And that's and so people are coming up. They come up in their careers, and either they freaking make a name. They make a name for themselves, and either it's a positive light or a negative light, you know. And that's what we're seeing in the world. This whole rotation of turnover, and the spirit in which turnover is coming into is going to be a beautiful thing, because people are going to come over the understanding with the transgender kids. Try it on for a while, kids. Try it on. Try it on. Everyone should be able to experience all things in the human experience. Boys should be able to, if they want to. Girls should be able to, if they dress like, you know, that whatever you want without judgment. Everyone should have that freedom to do that. Everyone. Try it on without freaking signing the lease. Try it on, wait a few years. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, I mean, if because a lot of this stuff, wreckage of the past, is handled with some, you know, quantum hypnotist therapy. You remember that, and it releases that burden. You know, it releases that tie from your past life, so it frees you up so you can focus on this one. That's what learning karmically is supposed to be all about. So, there's going to be a lot of heroes stepping in. The unlikely, the way I see it, the unlikely hero. The little guy that's going to stand up and be like, no, you don't get to be a jerk. I see what you're doing, and I'm not going to stand for it. Yep. Because you know what? That little guy is bigger than the bully. Yeah, it's true. So